Let's get this party started. Episode 4.
And we are live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. This is Sabrina.
And this is Katarina.
Welcome to episode 4. We are going to pick from Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards.
Yes.
Whoops. 2 flew out of here.
So, all those who are new, this is Welcome to Your Journey, where we just partake in each other's journeys by explaining, not even having a conversation of our experiences. And we do that by picking Oracle cards to bring out the theme for this week. So you have 3 cards now.
Now we have 3 cards. So the first card is a 13 Air Paradigm Shift, which is what's happening now.
Definitely feeling that in here.
The Sound of the Universe, number 51, 6.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
And 23, Endless Opportunities.
23, I've been seeing 23 a lot.
I've been seeing 144 a lot.
Which comes to 5, which is like shifting. Anyways, so the Air Paradigm Shift, the Sound of the Universe, Endless Opportunities.
And just so you know, 13, 23, and 51 is 4, 5, 6.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, so paradigm shift. The world is shifting. Everybody feeling it. I'm feeling it like crazy. Like the energy is, I mean, I've been talking like April to me. We're in April now,
Yeah.
so I don't know when this is going to be aired, but I think it's going to be aired in April. The energy like has become lighter.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's crazy still. The energy is still there, but I feel like there's like a shift away from the heaviness that we felt in 2023. Like 2023, this no longer exists for me.
2023, yeah. If you're comparing it to 2023, 100%, because I've been going through like intense purgings. I still feel like it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's just entering this new vibrational frequency.
But a different
I still feel the heaviness. Huh?
A different heavy.
For me, it's still the same. I'm not there yet. Maybe just because I've been going through a couple of things over the weekend. So that's could be a possibility as well. I love your earrings, by the way.
Thank you. I bought them in Italy.
Italy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Every time I go travel, I buy earrings.
It reminds me of Neil, the Burning Heart of Jesus.
Oh, wow.
For some reason, that's the first one that came up.
That's what it is.
Anyways.
Okay.
So
these cards are like a little bit, they speak up like for me, this card is like the paradigm shift. It's like the shift of the ages. I mean, I've been getting the message that this is it. Like, it's okay. Let's just go into what I got the message of the week of this few days ago. I got this message saying like, Katarina and I have been talking a lot about how we're bored. Yeah, we're bored in this, like going to eat, going to bars, or just bored. Like what do you do when you go out? It's like
this 3D experience, basically. Like the mundane. The
message I got was like, well, you're disconnecting, right, from this paradigm. We're disconnecting from this matrix, from this dream, from this illusion, for however you want to see it. And so as we disconnect, we don't no longer, our energy doesn't align with this experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, makes sense, right? But like, it's the feeling, it's
like disconnecting from the old so you can actually step into the new, to emerge.
But we don't even know what the new is.
No, exactly.
So it's like very challenging because we're like in the middle. We're in this like neutrality zone, which is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's like stepping away from the duality, and we're trying to figure ourselves out within this trinity of life, right? We're like bouncing back and forth in this triangle, and we're like, what are we doing? And that's that energy that I feel like we're feeling.
Yeah, and also boredom is usually the void, that center space where everything can emerge from. If you're always keeping yourself busy, nothing new can emerge from that boredom. And this is something that I didn't even understand until last year, where it's like, you need to be bored. Now, especially I see it with my niece and nephew, where they're always overstimulated and they're never bored. So when they actually get to that point of like, oh, I'm bored, it's almost, it comes to a place of, oh, something must be wrong because I'm bored. Something must be wrong with me because I'm bored. Where no, it's just because something new wants to come out of this boredom, but you keep distracting yourself. So you can't actually create something new. And you need to be bored to actually create something new. So when we were talking, we were saying how the paradigm shift is giving us this the boredom is giving us this opportunity to step out of the old and into something new. It's just we don't know what it is. So that unknown feeling could be scary. The boredom is annoying sometimes because you're just like, well, where's the joie de vivre? You know, for me, it's been like, well, how do I enjoy life if I'm always bored or I'm not feeling like I'm connecting with life at the moment because I'm bored.
Also because you have that, like, the kind of the human societal pressures of like always multitasking, always doing. What are you doing with your life? Everyone is doing something. I'm starting my business. I'm doing this. I'm like, I have so many things to do. And then you're here on our side, and we're like, well, nothing. We're doing nothing because like going to a museum doesn't excite me anymore. Traveling doesn't, for me personally, doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me anymore. Well, because you've done it all, Sabina. Is it because we've done it all, or is it because, like, again, we're our energies are misaligned, but also I think we're just evolving, right? And like, how do you move into a new if you keep holding on to an old? Like, if we keep attaching to the old experience, we can't create a new experience. And I'm like, what is this new experience? And they're like, well, that's for you to figure it out, right? Like, this is what we came down on this earth to do.
Yeah, how could you move into something new if you keep doing the old?
Yeah,
right.
We keep doing the same.
Yeah,
like, and it's fine, and it's fine, but it's not fine anymore. Actually,
what do you mean?
Like it's fine if everyone if we continuously, as a society and a humanity, continuously do always the same thing, then we're just repeating the same loops over and over and over again. And it's not like, sometimes I get like a little frustrated because it's always like, it's up to the star seeds to do the work, but it's up to all of humanity to do the work, right? It's like, we're all star seeds. I mean, really, right? So we all have to do this work. We all have to do the detachment work. But if we continuously follow routines, like, I don't know, there has to be like a give at one point.
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like everybody is just comfortable in the routine. But I mean, it's not everybody that is consciously aware as well that there is a new earth.
That, and I think everybody has their own role to play too. I do believe some people are meant to stay in this dreamline for whatever reason, and certain people are here to break free from it.
But we're supposed to bring them.
Yeah. To what extent, though? I always wonder. I always ask myself that question. To what extent because we're not here to do anything. Yeah. I personally believe we're here to be the example and live through our heart center, which is connected with the mind and connected with everything else around us. And we're here to step into the higher versions of ourselves, even if it could be scary at the time, even if we don't know what that entitled, we don't know what that means for us, right? So for me, the boredom has been, and it's not like we don't do anything. Like, I'm always trying something new. I'm always trying something different. One of my biggest things was always to get myself in that discomfort, getting out of my comfort zone. But now it's just like, okay, I've done that. I've done this. I've done that. I've done this. And it's just this question of like, what is the whole point if we're just repeating the same things? And like Sabrina said, it's probably because we're meant to do something completely different that doesn't incorporate the old way of mundane work. So this is the dilemma that's been going on.
Yeah, and the dilemma is also like, and it's triggering too, is like also the healing practices, right? It's like, are we always to do the same thing? Healing practices, you know, like sound healing. This is great, and it's great to do all these practices, but like, there's some, for me, I feel like there's something new out there. Why are we holding on and always repeating the same like form of practice, you know, like meditation and yoga and Pilates? Okay, and I said like, and I'm not like judging these like forms of healing, or
there's still tools.
There's still tools that we need to use. Yeah, you know, like tarot too. Like, I'm a tarot person too, and energy healing. But I just feel like there's something else. Like, to me, I mean, we can go deeper into this. Like for me, medicine is pointless. I feel like we are the medicine machines. Like our cells are everything, and we just forgot about it, and we gave it away to other people. Like, we gave our power away to other people, and here we are, the freaking healing machines. Right?
The bodies are designed for that, 100%.
Yeah.
We're designed by nature to, our bodies know what it needs to heal and how it is going to go about it. And I feel like we're even shifting into a new frequency where we won't even need external things like herbs. Yes, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're going to be there anytime soon, but I do believe that's where we're heading.
But how do we begin, right?
What do you mean?
But we have to begin somewhere. That's the thing. It's like you start trusting your body.
Yeah, that trust is a big one. Trust will always be a huge one. We're here to learn trust 100%. And at the end of the day, it's like, what are we trusting really? Are we trusting ourselves, or are we trusting God, this external thing, which is just us at the end of the day? So it's just like, how do we, like you said, to answer that question, where do we begin? It's like, well, can we agree that, can the majority of people, if not all, agree that there is magic in just the air we breathe, and that magic can actually go within our bodies and do whatever it needs to do to heal whatever needs to be healed, or transmute, or release? And that's what it is. Emotion is just energy in motion that gets stuck in your body. So why can't we just let it go? And then what does that even mean, letting go? This idea of letting go, this idea of healing. It's like we have to transform the definition of healing. What is the definition of healing? What's the definition of transmuting? I feel like that's
and also,
where I am.
And it's also like why are you looking outside of yourself for healing when you're the healer? You can heal yourself. Like, I'm a proponent of cells, of communication of cells, because I really truly believe that the vessel is, I've talked about this with people I know, that the body is like our ship. I am the captain, Sabrina, and my cells all are the sailors. So I, as a captain, say, yo, cells, this is what I want, and this is what they do. And they're like, yes, okay, finally, we have direction. Right? And it's a little thing. It's a little thing. Like, I got that message that was said to me, like, we're the directors. Like, my higher self told me, like, you're the director of this movie in this realm, right? We wait for you to direct us in the ethers, where we direct you as well from the ethers for the ethers. And we, what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, true. And like, why aren't we asking? Like, for the first time, I think I asked my higher self for a favor, and they were like, finally, like, this is what we're here for, to help you, to make this journey easier, because you're doing the hard work as the physical being. It's easy for them who are watching from wherever they're watching, right? From Venus in their spaceship, going, yeah, this is where you need to do, and like, but you can channel all you want, but you're you, and you have to like applaud yourself as the physical Katerina, Sabrina, Matthew, Jane, June, that's watching here and saying, yeah, pat yourself on the back and say, what amazing work you're doing here on this planet.
It comes back to the second one.
Talk.
It comes back to like the sound of the universe. For me, I feel like the next step is
interesting. Sound.
That, but also like experiencing with other people, because that's how everybody is just part of the symphony of this world, part of the symphony of life, part of the symphony of everything we do. So it's like, I feel like 2023 was this internal hermiting where it's like you were supposed to be with yourself, almost to like, I keep saying transmute, but I don't even feel like it's that. It's just to be with yourself and connect with yourself and see what your body really needs from you. And now we're entering this world and this path of like, now who could you collaborate with? Who could you create symphony with? Who could you have more experiences? And just part of life is not to just be with yourself, but to have these experiences that will bring you closer to the awareness of who you are. You can't really know who you are without people around you that's going to,
who are the echoes.
exactly, echoes,
right?
reflections, push your buttons, this and that. Okay, you want to become this person, but you need these people to push your button so you can become this person, being, light, whatever you want to call yourself, into the next step, into the next paradigm, right? Which is the paradigm shift that we were talking about here. And
which is air, which is Aquarius, age of Aquarius. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, 100%.
We're
and then
entering that.
the endless opportunities, because there is opportunities all around you. I find it interesting how there's butterflies.
Bubbles. Oh, in the bubbles.
Yeah, there's like butterflies in the bubbles. So it's like all these opportunities is here to help you metamorphose into this being that you're destined to become.
And it's interesting because
you can't do it if you don't.
The butterflies are in the bubbles, and all you need to do is pop the bubble.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the opportunities are right in front of your faces, everyone, and we're not seeing them. They're like almost in a veil. And that's why when we talk and you listen on spiritual channels, the veil has dropped, and it has completely, to me, it's completely dropped. You feel that?
I feel like it's getting there for me. I haven't feel it. I haven't seen the veil, although this boredom is a great example. It's part of it. I do think in this terms of like, and I feel like I have no choice anymore because removing the masks and seeing through the illusions has been a big one. And I think there's just one more cycle of illusion that I'm left to break free from. And I still haven't figured, I'm not supposed to figure it out. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. Even if my ego and human self feels very uncomfortable and,
the ego. And that's what we were talking about right before this podcast about the ego. And that's where we had different opinions about it, which was awesome. Because to me, I feel like the ego is struggling because the ego is trying to stay within this matrix system. I don't even know what to call it anymore. This illusion, right? And it's like, no, I'm bringing up a lot of ugly within you, a lot of which is a good thing if you really think about it, because that's what you want to clear from the vessel. But it's like us against, it's not us against the ego, because the ego,
ego's you.
Ego's you, right? You. It's you. It's you in the human form.
It's a version of you.
And we can't hate the ego. And like Katerina had said, we need to merge with the ego. And we just have to find that compatibility with the ego and the higher self and the you, the Trinity.
Yeah, I feel like it's evolving also. So it's very uncomfortable. So one of its way of dealing with the uncomfortness is spitting out all the last
offense
pieces of illusions or programmings that are so left in our bodies to clear out, right? I mean, we're energetic beings, so left in our blueprint to clear out. So for me, it was that. For her, it's like, for me, it was more of a question of evolution. It's evolving with us. So it's a question of I guess
upgrading. I think it's the same thing.
I guess
you're talking upgrading, and then we're talking the same kind of, but a different way. But also, it's like, I think the ego has a bad rap in the spiritual field, of community. It's like the ego is the devil, which the devil again is. Like
you,
right?
If you're getting triggered by this, lean into that.
And the devil and the God and the Satan, we're all it, because we're not separate. We're all one. So if we can't just byproduct, we can't just pick and choose. That's what I feel like the community does. It's like, oh, well, the ego is separate, but everyone else is one. But the ego and the devil are separate.
It's always a war for some reason, and then we wonder why there's war in the world. And we're creating war within ourselves, war within with our ego. Or this, for me, the ego is like one of your best friends, like the ultimate friend that you can ever have, because it's trying to protect you no matter what. And it's
that's right. But also, eventually won't need protection. So the ego the ego right now, what it is the ego is that divine masculine energy, that patriarchy, where it's like it's the end all and be all. It's at this highest rank right now, right? But now the higher self has moved in to me, that I feel like it's integrating, and it's like, no, honey, no ego. That's the imbalance that's happening with the ego. So the higher self is coming in. The character Sabrina is showing up now, the body and the ego. Now the three of us are playing together, and except before the ego played the main role. of the movie.
Why? Because of the
Because
ultimate
because of the
masculinity,
programming.
because of the
Because of programming. We were programmed, right? I didn't know about my higher self until I started allowing it to enter into my body, and until like certain events happened in the world that there was a mass
internal exploration
that happened. It had to happen because it was like, this is it, guys. We need to move. We need to evolve. We can't be staying stagnant. And the ego was like, no, we can stay stagnant for the rest of our lives. And that's what I feel like, is the higher self has moved in, and Sabrina has moved in, and the three of us are working together now. Instead of saying one is higher, like higher self is not higher than anyone. The higher self is recognition that Sabrina needs to do the physical work. And so the ego is at this point is like, okay, I get it. Now I got to work with two other people. Yes. You're not the leader of us. You're not the survivor. You're not the one that's like going to control me. That's what, if you look at the ego, that's what they are. Right? The definitions of ego: control, manipulation, like all that. But it's us, like the way like she has said to me in the past too, is like, let's form the ego. Like, let's
redefine it.
That's the word.
Redefine it 100%, because I don't believe it's here to manipulate us at all. It's it's these false illusions that we have of the ego. It's not here to manipulate us. It's here to protect us, because at a certain time frame, when the ego was created, when you were probably 0 to 7 years old, where you couldn't run, you couldn't fight, you're too small. So you basically, the only resource that you had was storytelling. And you can only tell yourself stories to not feel the emotions that you didn't want to feel, whether it was anger because you were told not to be angry, or cry because you were told not to cry. And I mean, it all had a purpose, because the whole point of learning those programming is to unlearn them, so we can, some is to teach others not to learn them, or part of it is being the example of it, that anything is possible, that you can heal yourself, right? So everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
Everything has a purpose. And you don't need to know what that purpose is for you just yet. Can you be okay with not being okay, right? Can you be okay with this idea of ego that you have in your mind? And that's it. Like, I don't even feel like we are supposed to be telling another story at the moment.
But also being aware, though.
Being aware that there is a story.
Ego. But being aware of that the ego, which to me is thought, right? Is that it's those thoughts that come up, like, that make you question yourself all the time. Then ask you questions. Are you sure you're doing this right? That's the ego. Because the higher self knows that, right? The higher self, which is the heart. And Sabrina maybe is like also with the ego, aligned with the ego, because they're like, oh my God, I don't know. So the higher self has to, like, that's why I feel that there's a massive like integration at this moment in time, solar integration, like moving in, the light bodies moving in. It has to move in at this moment, because we have to move into a state of knowing, of inner wisdom, instead of always relying on an outside, an external. Which is interesting, because it's the divine masculine, which is the external, and we have to rely on the divine feminine,
which is receiving.
Receiving
and like internal observations.
The challenge of every human. Receptivity.
I do believe, like, I like when you said to pay attention and to be aware of the ego, but also to be aware of witnessing it, just witnessing it, Why is it bringing up stories of self-doubt, right? Why is it bringing up stories of self-doubt? Why is there a version of you, or is there something about yourself that you haven't fully accepted, that you haven't fully took accountability, or haven't fully, what's the word I'm looking for, loved about yourself? A lot of the self-doubt comes from, again, past versions of you. I'm trying to come up with an example now, but it's like, if you're still doubting that you can achieve or
find a relationship,
I mean, is it because there's a part of you that still feels that it's unlovable, that you don't love yourself enough to allow love in, So questioning, yes, but more observing, like, and can you, like, I'm coming to this point of my life where I've done all the like excavations. We're asking the questions, where is this coming from? Where, like, and it's been a great, it helped a lot. But I'm coming to this place where you don't even need to know where it comes from. Can you just allow the thoughts to come up and be okay with it being there so it can be released, if that makes sense? Yeah, it's witnessing is a beautiful art, but just being with it, with that,
observing,
with being okay with it being there, you know, and not guilt tripping yourself for saying, oh, well, I shouldn't be feeling like this, or why do I still have self-doubt? How could this still happen to me? That's the loop that we keep feeding into. You're feeding into this charge that is still there. Can you just let it come up and be like, oh, this is coming up and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with me if this is coming up.
Yeah. Like
eventually taking the steps towards whatever
that's it.
You feel like you need to take the steps towards, but
instead of berating yourself, instead of getting upset at yourself, like, why is my ex-boyfriend keep coming up? Oh my God, why? Like,
must be a sign.
It's
must be.
Maybe he's coming back in your life. Like, close the door.
Or maybe it's just triggering something that needs
to be released. But it also, yeah,
you know,
it's like, does it have to be about your ex-boyfriend? Maybe not. It's something how he made you feel, perhaps, or whatever, how you were in that relationship is coming up,
or how you were already feeling about yourself that he brought up at that time and place.
In the end, is your reflection. So yeah, that's like
everything's a reflection. I'm just playing with all her stones.
She's taking all my stones out of the drawers, but it's hilarious. I keep like pulling cards on Journey to Wholeness.
Oh wow. Which is basically what we're doing.
Which is what we're doing.
Remembering. I don't even think we're going back to wholeness. We're just remembering that we're already whole. But these fragments are reminding us that we're whole. You know, it's like, how could you learn unconditional love if somebody doesn't really stab you in the back? You know, because unconditional love is unconditional. And that doesn't mean you allow people to stab you in the back to happen. On the contrary, discernment is very important for self-love. Discernment, not necessarily boundaries, but like saying no to somebody is part of saying, I love myself enough not to allow you in, right? So,
but you wouldn't have learned that if you didn't go through
exactly, which is basically the journey to wholeness. You're remembering that, oh, I'm whole. This experience doesn't define me. It never did, and it never will.
Yeah, beautiful. That's it. Well said. Because we come in as one, and then we get fractalized into many.
Through the experiences.
In experiences.
Yeah. Especially at a young age, because we don't know what the hell's going on, because technically we've forgotten.
0 to 7. 0 to 8, I always thought, but 0 to 7.
Oh, yeah?
I always thought 0 to 8. I don't know why. And you're
like
pure people. Innocence. Pure, your high frequency, and then we go into programming, deprogramming.
Yeah.
And that is the whole journey for all of us. And then we go to deprogramming, and then we're like, we have these aha moments throughout our lifetime, like, you have remembrance, and then you just shove it, you know, you bury it with alcohol, or you
distract yourself. You distract yourself because it's too painful. Although if you just go through it, it'll be less painful, right? It's like the story, I'm pretty sure some of you heard it, where it's, you know, you can be the bull or you can be the cow. There's a big difference on how they face the storm. There's a storm. When the storm comes in, the cow is going to run away from it, but then it gets tired because you can't run away from a storm. The bull is the absolute opposite. It sees the storms and it knows the fastest way to be safe is to go through the storm because it's going this way, right? So it's like you can run away from it, but it's going to catch up no matter what, or you can go through it. And this is what cows, and like, this is the real
interesting
in instinctual way. So it's
Taurus.
Like, there you go.
Right through the storm.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That makes sense.
Like, you can, it's like what they say, it could be a long lasting pain and suffering, or it could be one pain and suffering that, you know, ends at a shorter period of time. So do you want the long lasting, which is more painful at the end of the journey, or you just go through it and yes, it's painful at that moment. But
that's kind of interesting. It's like we're almost all cows when it comes to relationships, because we're always
say that. Do tell.
Well, because a lot of us want to find, you know, we want to we compromise.
Compromise, yeah.
We like compromise ourselves for the other person. We allow certain behaviors to occur within relationships that if you were actually standing outside and being the objective person of the relationship, you would be like, what? Right? I always think about it like this. It's like when my friends come to me and ask me about I'm like, no, just leave him, right? But if I've been in many of those relationships, by the way, where my friends just didn't say anything, and I'm like, I wish they would have said, "Get the F out, Sabrina." But it was my lessons to learn, right? So at that moment, I was a cow, which I lingered. I always looked for the benefit of the doubt. Oh no, there's a good side of him. Giving excuses to men or women, whatever.
But it's also, like, but that also comes down to the fact that, like, we don't want to feel the pain of loneliness, or we don't want to feel the pain of abandonment or rejection or whatever that is, or compromising, because we don't want to face that fight. Oh, it's gonna the avoidance, you know, of not dealing with the situation, because we think that, you know, we're not supposed to be causing ruffling people's feathers either. Like,
but also like at a young age, really love it ourselves.
Well, that, and it's also, we've been taught to, like, oh, you're not a good person if you ruffle people's feathers. You're not a good person. Not a good person.
You don't respect.
We don't respect.
Oh, that's my word. Yeah.
You know, it's all these illusions that we're breaking through, right?
Yeah.
It was just part of shifting of the paradigm. But I feel like that's good for today. I feel like we touched the back on a lot.
Oh, it's already 30 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah. I feel like this is pretty good for this episode 4.
Yeah.
And do let us know what you think about what we just talked about, everything about the paradigm shift. Are you guys actually feeling this shift? Do you see the potentiality of communicating and having new experiences, but also being okay with boredom? You know, are you feeling the boredom too?
That's what we want to know. Are you feeling the boredom too?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're dealing with it differently. You can give us some
pointers. Help us out over here. Basically.
Yeah. All right. So
I think that's good.
This was nice. It's so nice to be here with Katarina. I love her so much.
I love it so.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely see you guys soon.
Yeah, love you.
Bye.